This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset your
painful, tender to the touch. May also
same shoulder length and the other. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I'm Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor, and Brandy Rashidian, not a chiropractor, is the reason you tune in and watch. I think you have some good jokes for them today, maybe.
Nope.
I'll put you on the spot.
I used them all right before we started.
Well, Real Health Podcast is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network. It can be found on listenfrederick.com, along with Spotify, YouTube, and iHeart and iTunes and all of those other places. And our purpose for doing the Real Health Podcast is basically to bring you all the latest information. What you might read in a newspaper or magazine, you're wondering what that means or if it's true or it's not true. We'll tell you if it's true or not, and we'll give you the research behind it. We'll give you the information on how to use it for your life to make you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger. So no jokes, huh?
I might have a few up my sleeve.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those moments, right? Where your wit just kind of jumps in and...
It can't be planned, my friend.
No, that's true.
It cannot be planned.
I try planning those things. It doesn't work out. You know, I have a patient who never laughs at my jokes.
I know. So
her daughter was in yesterday. I asked her for advice. She said, I can't help you.
She had no advice.
No. But she said she gave up a long time ago. And I said, well, I can't give up. I'm going to keep trying. Well, I'm going to get her to laugh. So she's been a patient for how many years? They've both been patients for years.
Yeah, a long time.
Like more than 5 years.
Well, I guess that just means you need to step it up, buddy.
Maybe.
Or you need to find the right timing. I don't know.
Right. Well, is that why most people say don't quit your day job?
She told you that, didn't she?
But no, she does. No, all she does. This is all she does. She rolls her eyes and she goes, at every joke. The other day she came in. Did I tell you this? She came in and I said, how did you sleep last night? And she said, well, I fell asleep just fine, but then I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep. I said, I know what happened. You remembered one of my jokes. You laughed so hard you couldn't sleep anymore. She goes,
Clearly, that was not it. Yes, you are not known for being a comedian, but you have a good joke here or there.
But
I think you're funny.
There are no true chiropractic comedians, so I may be a category of my own.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, you guys can comment.
Yeah,
take my side on one for
or
once.
Tell the truth.
Or tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Okay.
What movie is that?
I know what movie that's from.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
I think it's Concussion.
That's right. Who says it?
The lead actor.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his, but anymore.
Right. He goes, tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
He has a good accent. Good African accent, I guess.
Yes.
Anyways, should we jump in?
I think so.
We got a few things to talk about.
Couple.
None of them are long topics, it seems.
Yeah.
They're kind of quick. So
that's okay.
See how many we get through. I have 7 articles here.
Oh my gosh.
7, 8. I have 8 articles, but we just go as far as we can, and we'll stop when as soon as I tell a good joke, we'll do a mic drop and walk away.
Ooh. Sean's like, please don't drop the mics.
All right.
He has enough issues with technology.
This first one, it says, are you aging well? 4 simple tests to find out. And there were more than 4 tests, but the article argues that your future health and longevity can be predicted using simple at-home physical tests, measuring strength, balance, walking speed, and mobility. So I guess that's the 4 categories. Strength, balance, walking speed, and mobility. And I don't like it when they say longevity is just tested based on those things.
Right. We know there's a lot more to it. I think what they're trying to get to is that those are things, if someone doesn't have the strength to hold something, if they aren't able to be
like they
mobile.
talk about if you can get up off the floor without assistance.
Right.
But here's the thing, like I know my longevity is good. I actually feel more youthful now than I did in my 20s.
Well,
but can I say this?
You can.
But my knees are shot. And so if I get on the floor, I look like an old person getting up off the floor.
Right.
But I can squat in the gym.
Right.
Right? Once I warm them up, I wear my knee sleeves, warm up the knees, stretch, loosen them up. You'll see me doing squats and deadlifts and everything else. You'll see me running, climbing stairs, all that stuff, no problems. So you can't say that just because I have trouble getting up off the floor because my knees are hurt,
No, it's one very small component. The reality is that there is one group who's really, really, really good at determining longevity. And that's an actuary.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you really want to know,
Yeah.
and you are right, you are younger now than you were 20 years ago because we actually have that scientific data.
Oh, yeah. Last year, I was 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I applied for life insurance, and I got an A+ rating.
Which is virtually
20 years
impossible.
20 years prior, I was 30.
Yes.
Applied for life insurance. I got an A- rating or a B+ or something like that.
But it was drastically different.
Yeah.
And so I think the items that they're testing for are definitely indicative of certain things, right? If someone's knees are shot, not everyone has it in them like you do to work through the pain and discomfort that that someone might experience, right? Most people, they don't feel very good or they feel a little bit off. They stop doing, you call out of work, you don't.
That's if I sat around, didn't do exercises, I wouldn't be able to get up off the toilet.
But that's why I'm saying it's like one indicator. Unfortunately, in our culture, this is not everyone. So if you are one where if you have a little bit of a cold, which we know is not going to negatively impact everyone around you. I'm not talking about you throwing up and having a bad virus, but let's just say and admit that the vast majority of people, if they just feel a little something coming on, they call out of work, right? They don't go to the gym. They don't do anything. They just lay in bed. That's what we do as a culture. The reality is, for most things, our body has everything that it needs to be able to fight what it needs to fight. And rest is important. Rest is a huge part of that. But there's also something to getting up and allowing yourself to barrel through certain things. I think that creates a different mentality, and you don't mentally and emotionally succumb to illness as easily. Like if you don't let yourself stay in bed all day with a simple cold, you build up a resilience. Do you know what I mean? Mentally, emotionally, and physically. So
we always talk about it. It's not what you do or what you accomplish. It's who you become. That's why people climb Mount Everest or K2. They climb
of who they
these
are when they
mountains.
get back down.
Yeah, they're a different person.
Yeah.
Now they're not afraid of simple challenges. They just dealt with low oxygen and extreme cold temperatures and physical fatigue of the highest level
that most people would never put themselves through or be able to handle.
So they choose that. They get up there. It's not about getting a picture at the summit.
Correct.
You can buy a picture of superimpose yourself.
Superimpose yourself.
AI could do it for you for free. So anyways, but the tests, the examples were like sitting, rising, so sitting down on the floor and getting up, walking speed, grip strength, farmer's carries, standing on one leg for balance. Poor performance on these tests correlates strongly with higher mortality risk and future disability. And that's the thing is people with poor balance, for example, they break their hips all the time.
Right.
They break their hip, then they're in the hospital, and then that leads to an early death. It says the good news is that improvement is possible at any age through regular activity and strength training.
I mean, so we have one of our favorite trainers, Daniel, who trains, your aunt, trains many of our patients, our older, more mature patient base.
Yeah, and if you're in Frederick, contact us, get his information.
For sure.
Because he can build agility, speed, strength, but balance and coordination. And I think his youngest patient is 60 years old. So he's helping people who
for sure
aren't doing as well.
And I would say if you are at any age, if these are things that you struggle with, then for sure, like look at these things. You can use these as like an early detection, right? Like, how flexible am I? Can I bend over and touch my toes?
Yeah.
Well, if not, it's probably not a bad idea to begin working on that, especially if you know it does impact your health 20 years from now,
Yeah.
right? There was a story about a patient, I think it was like two different patients, where they're at a certain age and one guy decided to eat less sugar and just take a little bit better care of
Yeah,
himself.
so that's called the compound effect. It's in a book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and he talks about the two
To finish
guys.
the story.
Yeah, they work in the same place, and they eat a Snickers bar every afternoon,
Right.
and they do these things together. Well, one of them decides he's going to start putting away, I don't know, $10 a week in a little jar or in an account, and he decides just to skip that little Snickers bar in the afternoon, and that's the only thing he changes. And 2 years from there, they don't look any different. They don't feel any different. One's not richer. 10 years later, one is a little heavier around the waist, the other is not. One has a little more money, one has a little happiness, a little more spring in his step. 20, 30 years later, just that little change that he made, that he continued over a 30-year period of time, vastly different. One is diabetic, obese, and has no money. The other one has no illnesses, is still doing all the great things.
And that's what we talk to patients a lot about, is sometimes people in general think that to make big changes in their life, they have to like change 100 different things, or change something 100%, get rid of something completely. The reality is it's actually those micro changes over time that make the biggest impact.
Whatever you can sustain over a long period of time.
Correct.
Yeah.
So do you think he could go without that Snickers bar in the afternoon? 100%. It
Yeah.
saved him $10 a week. And health-wise, I mean, oh my gosh, every day what's coming out about our food is more. One of my favorite chocolates, Lindt, right? The little balls.
Yeah.
Stop eating it.
Really?
It's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah. It's basically palm oil in the middle.
Oh, wow.
It's not even real chocolate. It's like infused with some chocolate. Like it's not good. The stuff that's coming out,
I thought that was high-end chocolate.
that's what we all thought.
Next thing you're going to say Godiva is bad for you.
I don't know, people. I'm just saying the more and more that comes out, and it's like every day, because now we have people in leadership in certain positions that are beginning to look at this, and things are unraveling. Now we're hearing about 3D printed meat. Here we're hearing that it's not meat at all. It's like, guys, if you get into this, like what they're putting in our food is so carcinogenic. It's endocrine system disruptors. Is it any surprise that infertility rates are through the roof?
Yeah.
Through the roof. If you're not putting it on your skin, if you're not, then you're putting it in your body.
And
They are
fertility
ensuring.
clinics are exploding. There was an article, I didn't bring it. It talked about how they found the technology where they can detect eggs that normally are not detectable through ultrasound for fertility. Apparently, they found a new technology of finding eggs that are fertilizable through IVF. Anyways, let's do this one. Weight loss drugs ended their sex life is the title.
Oh, we should have had like a little song clip that played. Let's talk about.
Oh,
That could have been a good one.
who's that? Salt and Pepper
I
or
think so.
TLC?
Salt and pepper.
Is Salt and Pepper? Okay. Peppa? Not pepper? Okay. All right. Aging ourselves here.
Before you know it, we'll have another Two Sick Chickens.
There was a group called TLC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But it wasn't them, huh?
Uh-uh.
All right. Anyway.
But now their song is going through my head. They had more than one, but.
Push it.
Mm-mm.
Push it real good.
I know. Okay, weight loss drugs.
That was someone else. The article tells the story of a couple whose relationship changed dramatically after the wife began a GLP-1 drug. They say it's similar to Ozempic. The medication altered her appetite, alcohol use, personality, and emotional dynamics, leading to tension and complete halt in their intimacy, in her intimacy with her husband.
For the record, never good for a marriage.
The article explores how weight loss drugs may have psychological and relational side effects beyond weight loss.
If we did not think that was the case going into this.
And yeah, you would think someone loses weight, it would improve their intimacy. not make it worse. But in the article, the lady actually, she had lost her desire to be intimate with her husband before she started on the drug, but she would be intimate with him sporadically for 5 years without much desire.
Mm-hmm.
Then when she lost some weight and started feeling better about herself, she decided she didn't want to do anything she didn't like doing. So anyways, they were, apparently they worked it out and got some counseling. And
well, that's good.
But, they had a rough couple of years. The media seems like they're backpedaling, right? And this might be the first of the backpedaling, because for 2 years they kept saying these drugs are miracle weight loss breakthroughs.
Yep.
Right? They're
Change
fantastic.
your life and your relationships.
Oh yeah, you lose weight,
And they were
you
right.
feel great, all that stuff. Then they started talking about the side effects, and then last week, was it last week or the week before, we talked about how 43% of the weight loss is muscle.
Yeah.
And they also lose bone mass, and within 6 months they gain back more weight than they lost. And the elderly are stopping it after a few months because the side effects are really bad, like the nausea, vomiting, and gastroparesis, all that stuff. So now this week they're talking about psychological effects of the drug
and relational effects.
And so they call this, because media goes through these phases, but like now they're saying, wait, there may be unexpected consequences. And I tell you what, I mean, do you remember there was a movie called Cool Runnings, since we're talking about movies, and John Candy was the coach of the Jamaican bobsled team.
Okay.
And the leader of the team, one day comes into his hotel room because he had found out that John Candy cheated to get a gold medal. And then they stripped him of the gold medal. They banned him from any Olympic activity whatsoever. And then they allowed him to coach the bobsled team. But that had to go through votes and all that stuff. So he finds this out. He comes to his coach. He goes, "Coach, why did you cheat?" And he says something I've never forgotten. He said, "It becomes all about that gold medal, and you do whatever it takes to get it." So, but the truth is, if you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. And I'm looking at this, and some people think, if I lose weight, I'm going to be a better person, and I'm going to have better relationships, and I'm going to have more friends, and I'm going to have more money, or whatever else you think you're going to do. But the fact is, just like John Candy says in Cool Runnings, if you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. Same thing happens with plastic surgery.
Right.
Because they go, oh, if I just fix this or fix this, I'm going to be better.
Well, we do it not just with that, right? How about this? When I have enough money, I'll be able to do this.
I'll be more generous.
Correct.
I'll help the poor. I'll give to the needy.
Yeah.
No, you got to do it now.
And I think outcomes would be vastly different. The need for such medications would be reduced dramatically if people saw their worth in who they are right now, regardless of weight, regardless of gender.
Not only who they are, but who they belong to, whose they are, which is God Almighty.
Well, if somebody doesn't know who they belong to,
right,
the rest of that becomes much harder and distorted.
Right.
So, but if we could get people to understand those two things, all of this would be inconsequential.
That's right. So don't chase happiness through weight loss or anything else. Find it first.
Right.
Then go after what you want just because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
But when it comes to technology, usually everything new is miraculous. They love it. They rave about it. Then they say, wait a minute, there's some things we have to be cautious of. Then they go, wait a minute, there's all these long-term consequences that we didn't know about. By then, it's a little too late. So be careful. That's why I don't like new technology. I won't say new technology, but new medication, new technology in medicine. I'm not a fan of. I want things to have been around
even
for a
new
long time.
Technology. We don't know how long things have been tested, how safe they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of technology that really should have been halted.
If a doctor prescribes a drug, look it up. If it hasn't been around at least 10 years, I wouldn't take it. Because you don't know what the long-term consequences of that are.
Yep.
Now there's So a lot of men are getting on testosterone. They take testosterone cypionate. Well, that drug was discovered in 1950 something. It hasn't changed since 1954
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah, methotrexate, or not methotrexate, sorry.
Metformin?
Metformin is one of those too.
Yeah, and that one, there's natural ways, but I guess there's
Correct. But
natural
I'm
ways for everything
saying
else. But
it's a
yeah,
medication that has been on, so we know
exactly.
the
So,
side effects.
so if the doctor says, if I had diabetes, and I'm just going to say it this way because I can't tell you guys what to do.
Correct.
Doctor said you have type 2 diabetes or you're pre-diabetic. I can put you on metformin or I can put you on a GLP-1. I will go with metformin 7 out of 7 days a week.
100%.
Yeah, just because it's been around a very, very long time. So next we have, what is gout and why is it rising? Rising.
Well, here's this. I read the first part of this and I was like, this is absurd. So it says that contrary to popular belief, they believe diet plays a very small role in gout, that it's really genetics. Okay. Let's go back to genetics 101. Genes are a blueprint, right?
It's the pre-programming.
It's the pre-programming.
Yeah.
Just like in a computer, something has to activate a program in order for that program to run. So there are good programs and there are maybe some not so great programs.
Yep.
And depending on what we do to our bodies environmentally, right? What we put in, what we put on, how we handle our stress, how we're processing, emotional stress, things of that nature, that all impacts.
Right. And here's how you know that's true. Because there's certain things that are genetic, like Down syndrome. You're born with it.
Correct.
It doesn't suddenly show up when you're 55 years old. You're born with it.
Correct.
Skin color, genetic.
Can't change
You're
that.
born with it. Doesn't change. Your race, your
change.
gender, believe it or not, you're born with it. It's genetic. You're born with it. It doesn't change, not by itself.
Right.
Right? So now, those are truly genetic things.
Truly.
Gout cannot be one of those, neither can cancer, because you're not born with it.
Correct.
If it was, you would be born with it. Now, some people's eye color changes like after the first year of life or
It's
whatever.
usually not even that long.
But it's rare.
Yeah.
Most often your eye color doesn't change, your hair color doesn't change, your skin color doesn't change. You are what you are, and that's genetic. But some of these other things, they have a genetic component to them. There's genetic predisposition to cancer, but that doesn't mean you have to get it. You don't have to get cancer, even if you have the gene for it. 50% of people with the BRCA gene don't get breast cancer. So they don't get it. They choose not to get it.
Although I don't know if I have the gene.
We don't know because we're not going to test it.
The odds
because
are I do.
It's irrelevant. We're going to assume we have it, and we're going to live a clean life so that it doesn't end up, so that it's not possible. Now, I can tell you, someone could have no predisposition to cancer,
And still get
but you
cancer.
radiate them, and they'll get cancer.
Correct.
You put toxins in their body, and they'll get cancer. You expose them to all kinds of terrible things, they will get cancer, even
Because
if there was no predisposition.
the body is actually programmed
Right.
to kill cancer
Right.
cells. It's what it does. We all have cancer in our body all the time.
And so I promise you, these people who are saying gout is genetic, I guarantee you I can probably find people, I can guarantee I'll find people who have no genetic predisposition to gout and they still got gout. Why? Because what percentage of gout patients are
I
overweight?
laughed so hard because in my mind, the vast majority of people I've ever seen diagnosed with gout have also been overweight. And so I was like, what are the odds of that? And it was 87%.
87%.
In one, like, these are not like true studies, but they have the demographics. So 87% of people in this one gout study, which was not studying.
Right. How can that be wrong? When you look at, you take 1,000 people who have gout and 870 of them are overweight, you're like, okay, well, that's got to be a factor.
91% in another group.
Wow.
So, and that was, 91% of males in this other group had a BMI of over 23.
But this is the trend. Like they used to say, being overweight is your own fault. And now they're saying it's not your fault. It's a condition.
Right.
Remember, Oprah Winfrey said on a TV
absurd.
program, she said overeating doesn't cause obesity. Obesity leads to overeating.
This wasn't an epiphany she had.
Right. And everybody quoted her. and they worship her, and they're thanking her for telling them that,
Thank you so much for giving me
you were
me
born,
permission to overeat.
She's like, you were born obese, you just didn't know it. But because you were obese from the day you were born as a newborn, you were like, you weren't fat, but like internally you were obese. Genetically you were obese. So that led you to overeating.
It's just absurd.
Well, if that was the case, then you would never be able to lose weight. But like, you see on the Survivor show, you put anybody on an island for 40 days and give them nothing but bugs to eat, they lose weight.
Yeah.
Not an exception. You never see an overweight person goes on that island, stays for at least like
100%.
3 weeks and doesn't lose weight.
Well, let me read what they have here. It says many patients are undertreated, and the misinformation online, for the record, this is misinformation, often promotes diet and natural remedies instead of medication.
Well, because they don't prevent it. Once
Correct.
it comes on, it's hard to get rid of.
Correct. And oh my gosh, it's like I sometimes I don't even have words for this, because for me, when I read this, I go, it is so apparent they are trying to increase their sales volume of this medication for gout. We're trying to tell people, don't worry, eat whatever you want because that will increase your gout. Let's go ahead, be obese. It's fine. That's not an indicator. It's not the cause.
Can I tell you what so
it's so detrimental.
This is why they say diet doesn't work. Because they believe, so uric acid crystallizes in the joints, causes the joint to be very painful. Typically, it's in the big toe. That's gout. So crystals, sharp, painful crystals, these sharp crystals end up being very, very painful when the joint moves. They're so painful, wind blows or the bed sheet hits their toe, it hurts. So it's very painful. It's awful. So they go, uric acid is a byproduct of red meat digestion, because uric acid does form out of, when you break down the amino acids of the protein that produces red meat, but it's actually all meats, chicken too, it can lead to uric acid. But then the research later showed that it's not red meat that leads to gout. It's actually high fructose corn syrup, because fructose, which is found in fruit sugars. So even if, let's say you eat nothing but fruit all day, every day, you're probably going to get gout then too. Mm-hmm. Because fructose and high fructose corn syrup are processed through the body. They increase uric acid. Right. More so than red meat does.
And there are some fruits that are way lower, like certain berries, blackberries.
Lower sugars, lower sugar fruits. Bananas are higher, apples are lower, berries are very low, but they all have fructose. Yep. Glucose and fructose are both sugar, but fructose is found in fruit. And so that's what leads to uric acid, which can build up, crystallize in the joints, and cause all that pain. I'm not saying there's no genetic predisposition. I'm just telling you.
But you got to turn that gene on in order for it to be activated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for us to just say it's only a genetic component is it's misinformation in and of itself. It feels more like propaganda when they do that, because if they can get you to believe that it's not diet related, then you can continue to eat your ultra processed food. You can continue to gain weight. You can, in almost all processed food, you're going to see high fructose corn syrup. It's in almost everything. And it is so dangerous. We did a podcast last year about colon cancer.
That's right.
And the rise of colon cancer, and how we're now doing colon screenings, and it's normal now in the 30s for it to be recommended, because people are being diagnosed so early. Why are people being diagnosed so early? Because in the 70s, 80s, when high fructose corn syrup started coming into all of our processing, it's literally in everything. So every single highly processed food that your children ate or that you're eating, it's impacting you dramatically. It's terrible. The things we end up knowing.
Same thing is causing type 2 diabetes in children.
Yeah.
You've got 12-year-olds that get type 2 diabetes. It used to be an old age disease. Now it's very common for kids to have type 2 diabetes. which is insulin resistance, is because they drink a lot of sodas, and sodas have high levels of high fructose.
And they're
corn
not
syrup.
out exercising. They're not out running in the streets like we were.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I know safety is an issue now, more so than it was back then. But
Oh, big time. That's a scary one. Well, this article talks about energy drinks, since we're talking about sodas and high fructose corn syrup.
this drives me nuts. I see more teens drinking energy drinks.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away.
Not
Number one, you don't need it.
Yeah.
You guys have energy.
Yeah. Well, not if they're drinking high fructose corn syrup. You know, high fructose corn syrup leads to fatty liver, which saps your energy levels. So that's why they sleep so much. They're tired. They can't go out and exercise. They can't go out and play. They want to sit around all day, is because their liver is coated with a layer of fat. And that's what fructose does. That's why, because fructose can only be processed by the liver. Glucose can be processed by the brain, by your muscles, by everything else. But fructose can only be processed by the liver. And so a lot of it in the body coats the liver in fat. You get fatty liver. That's another thing. You've got teenagers with fatty liver. That was never the case before.
No.
Fatty liver was number one cause of fatty liver is alcoholism. So when you got a teenager who doesn't drink alcohol and they're
still
getting
has
fatty liver, it's got to be something else.
Yes. That's the food industry's fault. Hey, food industry, take high fructose corn syrup and all the other chemicals out of our food, please. It's unnecessary.
But now they're going to say you're hurting the economy saying that.
So
we got an article on that. We get to it.
there's all of these. I'm just going to eye roll.
Do we need to say anything else about
caffeine drinks?
Basically, the article said the only benefit you get from these energy drinks is from the caffeine, not anything else. The rest of the stuff is junk. They say it has B vitamins and all this nutritional stuff in it, but that stuff is all synthetic and it really doesn't have. You want to take some whole food supplements and don't do the energy drinks as much as possible, or do it every once in a while because you like the taste of it.
And just know also, this is the same as it was with the vaping that we talked about last year also, is that they're not gearing these things towards adults. They are marketing these to our kids.
Yeah.
And they're not always healthy alternatives. Like tea and coffee, we know what's in it. You know how much caffeine you're getting. You can look that up very easily. With some of these other synthetic things that they're using, you don't know what all is in it.
I was talking to a pastor. He said, I only drink drinks that have been around over 1,000 years.
So water.
That includes wine.
Well, that's good.
Coffee, tea, wine.
That works.
They've been around for 1,000 years.
They sure have.
Wine's been around for much longer time than that.
Yes, it has.
I don't know if beer's been around for 1,000 years.
I don't know either. I have to look into that.
I don't need to look into that. I'm fine. You all look it up on your own. I'm never going to look into it.
Just stay away from energy drinks.
Information I don't need. But, they turned the article into like an anti-supplementation message where like supplements are worthless. Well, that's not true.
Well,
don't listen to
how are you saying supplements are worthless when you're putting them in your caffeine drinks?
What they're saying, don't drink those. They're saying they're bad, but then they're blanketing the whole supplement industry as well.
Yeah, you can't.
They're lumping in like there's good B vitamins, there's synthetic B vitamins. They're lumping it all together, saying that all of that stuff is not worth it. Anyways, should drug companies advertise to consumers?
No.
Done. Moving on to the next article.
I mean, why do we need it? Aren't we the only country or one of the very few that actually allow drug advertisements?
Yeah.
It's
one of two.
It's atrocious.
New Zealand and United States of America. The article examines the massive rise in pharmaceutical advertising and the debate about banning direct-to-consumer drug ads. If you can't go buy it at the store yourself, you shouldn't get advertised to.
Correct.
Anyways, spending now exceeds $9 billion annually. So who gets the $9 billion is the major networks.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I have a recommendation. If they stop spending $9 billion on marketing to consumers, maybe you could just cut the cost of the medications that you have so severely overpriced.
Thank you very much.
Now, I think you could take half of those off the market probably, and we'd still all be okay.
Yeah.
As we know, we're not huge advocates of most medications, not when you can do the same thing with what God gave you outside.
And these ads are influencing patients to go request the medication from their doctor.
Right.
So how does that, who's the authoritative figure here then?
Correct.
You've got people go, hey, doc, give me this one.
Right. And then there's got to be something in the back of that doctor's mind. If I don't give them what they want, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we've just made our doctors drug dealers.
Right. Yeah.
Because they don't necessarily want to lose a patient.
Right.
Right? Like there's income to be made. And if you don't give them what they want,
Yeah,
they're going to go somewhere else. You might have a handful of patients that'll listen to what you say. But we are putting way too much power without knowledge into a consumer's hand.
Yeah. Well, do you know most doctors get their education from drug ads.
Oh yeah, and the drug reps
So
that come in.
they're getting educated by the same thing that the patients are getting educated by, and then the next person that educates them is the drug reps. So these are people with marketing degrees who do their hair and put on makeup and wear short clothes and go into the doctor's office with samples, with a suitcase full of samples, and they give a bunch of samples, and then they drop off incentives. Like, hey, if you prescribe this many times over the next 12 months, you get a free trip.
They can't do incentives anymore.
They do it, and there's a website you can go on and see how much your doctor made as kickbacks for prescribing certain drugs. That's a fact. Actually, Obama put that in place. Anyways, do we need to talk about this anymore? Advertising increases drug demand, raises healthcare costs, and politicians are debating a ban.
I would love if we could just remove those from our TV commercials anyway.
75% so the major networks are what? ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. 75% of those networks, their revenue comes from drug ads.
No, I don't doubt that.
75%. So they won't want that to happen.
I'm sure they won't.
But I think when you get rid of those ads, then other companies are going to advertise. There's plenty of car companies will do more ads.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
And maybe cost of advertising would come down a little bit.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, maybe this would actually
do you know,
down-regulate.
Oh my gosh. Look up how much these TV personalities make. There are some people who are making over $100 million annually. And they have like an hour-a-day TV show, half-hour-a-day TV show. Some of them are like once a week.
It's crazy.
And they're making millions of dollars. Where's that money coming from? It's big pharma. Cut their salaries. Why are they making so much money when they're giving misinformation to people?
Yeah, but that's why they're getting paid so much. They're pushing the propaganda, baby.
Wow.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Right. So who are you going to listen to? People who are incentivized to lie to you? Or people like us who make $0 bringing this information to you? We make no money to do this.
We might lose money doing this. I don't know.
It's worth it. Bottom line, we have these conversations regularly. We just decided to turn on the camera.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we used to do this all the time anyways, with our staff, with each other. So anyways, it says pharma is moving from being a pandemic hero to being industry under scrutiny. It's a political shift, right?
It is.
The political climate changed. We have people in power who are questioning things that they should be questioning. They want safety, they want health, and they're not interested in making money or pleasing people. And they're not interested in, I'm getting political, so forgive me, but this, talking the way they do, this new administration and with the FDA, we talked about the commissioner of FDA, McCary, RFK Jr. These guys, their popularity has gone down because of what they say. So they're not chasing votes and they're not chasing approval. Otherwise, they tell you what you want to hear. They're telling the truth, even if it hurts them. That's who I listen to, and that's why.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Vaccine makers curtail research and cut jobs. Vaccine industry, just like big pharma, is under scrutiny. Demand for vaccines has dropped due to political climate. Vaccine hesitancy, that's a funny word. They have urinary hesitancy where someone goes to the bathroom and it takes them a minute to start urinating. I never knew there was vaccine hesitancy. and policy changes.
Okay, but that is not why there's the hesitancy. It is not just because of political climate.
Correct.
The reason why is because the truth came out and some people saw it. Not everybody has seen the information
Correct.
regarding COVID vaccines, but people have seen it. They saw the truth hidden and they saw the truth revealed, and they did not like being misled. So we're in an age where we are all aware that misinformation is coming at us all the time. We're also aware that that comes at us politically, that comes at us from all different areas. And now there's some of us that are just, we'll be a wait and see. I'm not going to jump and do anything because
Right.
I simply don't trust you.
It says companies are cutting jobs, pausing vaccine research, and losing government contracts. It says the media is persuading you to believe that vaccine skepticism is harming innovation and jobs. That's what this article was trying to do.
That it feels
So
manipulative.
because they used to say, if you don't vaccinate, you're hurting your neighbor, you're hurting the other humans.
And then finally the evidence was recorded.
Then the argument came out that says, wait a minute, I thought the vaccine was supposed to protect me, not other people. So if I get vaccinated or not, how does that hurt you? So assuming this particular vaccine, there's some vaccines that are more effective than others. Some have higher risk than others. All of that aside, let's say we have the perfect vaccine and Brandy gets it and I don't. So if she has it, she's protected. So how is me not getting that vaccine going to affect her health? It doesn't. And so now,
not if their science is right.
Correct. Not if it's right. So then that argument fell apart. So now they're starting this whole new rhetoric that, when you don't vaccinate, you're hurting the economy because jobs are being lost. Government contracts are being lost. And what is it? The research. They've stopped doing research because the funding is going down because people aren't interested in their product anymore. I don't know.
Well, maybe you should take some of those millions or billions that you made during that time and put it away for a rainy day, because the rainy day is here and we are not just going to come out and take your product without doing our due diligence anymore. So you ruined it.
It's so clever though how they're doing this. The new twist they're putting on it. Who comes up with this crap? That all you people, when you don't do all the vaccines that you're supposed to, you're hurting the economy and jobs are being lost.
Yeah, but the problem is, here's what happens. That's right now the propaganda they're putting everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So It's not just vaccines. So, you want to know more about all the files that we haven't released yet? Why do you want to know that? Look at the Dow. Everything is great. Come on, people. Ugh.
All right. Well,
Crazy world.
I am pro health freedom.
100%.
I'm pro health choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think parents should choose what goes in and out of their kids' bodies and their own bodies, and the government should not dictate what you take or don't take or what you do and don't do. I think it's one of our inalienable human rights to choose how our bodies are treated from a health perspective.
Can I tell you? I heard this. There was this experiment or this study that was done. It started back in the, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. But there was an adoption agency that started working with a couple of these scientists who wanted to study the nature versus nurture.
Wow.
So whenever there were twins,
that's dangerous,
that were brought in for adoption, they unknowingly to the adopted parents had separated the twins at birth and sent them to different homes and followed them. Like would go and do check-ins like 4 times a year, the first couple of years of life. And then they would go on to like twice a year or once a year. And they never told these kids that they were twins.
Wow.
And then to see like what happened to them in their lives, like this one set of twins, they ended up getting married at the same age. They ended up having kids at the same age. They like all of these
Wow.
things were absolutely identical. Neither one of them ever wanted sauces of any kind on any of their food.
That's
Like
funny.
there are all these things that were innately.
See, that's genetic because it was like
That's
that from
genetic.
start to finish. They were
Exactly.
born that way. They stayed that way. They lived their life that way.
Exactly.
That's genetic. Gout, not genetic.
Yeah. And do you know that the scientist had his all of his research sealed until 2066. And this agency only had hers sealed until 2021.
Oh,
So just recently have some of these twins been reunited.
wow.
Such a touching story.
Oh,
Such
wow.
a touching story.
That's very
But
cool.
I just thought it just reminded me of like these things that happen in the background
Yeah.
to us, that people are running these experiments all the time that we may not be privy to. They may
Right.
be testing and looking and
Oh,
observing.
yeah, I'm sure.
And I go, it's so hard knowing those things. It makes you really skeptical of everyone. So, and I think I used to be a pretty trusting person. Now I'm like, I don't trust anybody. But I don't know what made me think of that. I guess it was the studies.
Well, this one, I'm going to do this one really fast. It's called intraoral therapy fixed shoulder pain. A journalist with chronic shoulder pain found relief through intraoral myofascial therapy. They talked about how jaw tension and fascia connect to shoulder pain through nerve and muscular pathways. Who would have thought like something in the body affects something else? Because medicine doesn't believe that. They
Yeah.
go, oh, it's a liver issue. It's only a liver issue. It's not affecting anything else. This one's a brain issue. It doesn't affect anything but your brain.
Right.
So, but anyways, this woman, when she was pregnant with her first child, started having shoulder pain. For 10 years, she had chronic shoulder pain, had all kinds of injections and tests and imaging and x-rays and CTs and all that stuff. And then someone gloved up and went in her mouth and released some of the muscles around her jaw from the inside of her mouth.
Yeah.
And the shoulder pain went away. And but
believe
anyways, the article talks about how things are all connected. I'm like, well, you should have listened to the chiropractor.
We told you it's all connected.
What? Like we have so many patients who come in here and they're like, I got shoulder pain. I go, all right, let me check your spine. Let me make sure your head's right on your spine. Let's check everything, And I go, by the way, the nerve to your shoulder comes out from here, and then we'll make corrections there. And I go, move your arm. Like, what'd you do? I go, I fixed your spine. I mean, and all of a sudden the other organs in the body are working better. Like, oh, by the way, my, indigestion went away.
Yeah.
My constipation went away. My blood pressure went down.
Well, it's also why we do full spine x-rays, right? Because
Right.
we know that there are certain referral patterns. So people say it hurts here. Well, that
Yeah.
could be coming from
Same
up
reason
above
your
or down below.
dentist does dental x-rays every 2 years. They don't wait till you have a toothache before they x-ray your teeth. They x-ray it every 2 years so they can catch things and fix them before they become a problem. I believe as chiropractors, we should x-ray your spine every 2 years and look for things that are degenerating, wearing out, misaligned. All that stuff accumulates. It's like an avalanche, and it gets bigger and bigger as it comes down the mountain. So anyways, you all should have listened to your chiropractor.
But it's not too late to start.
But she had no problems going to medical doctor after medical doctor, specialist after specialist, getting drugs and injections and tests done. Never went to a chiropractor.
Here's what I always say. It's always best to look at things as a whole before you start separating things off.
Yes.
So to check your the power system of the body first, to make sure that that messages are getting to every single part of the body, why would that not be the first place you start?
Yeah.
Because if that organ, muscle, or tissue is not getting the messages or the power that it needs, it's not going to function right. And it doesn't matter how you look at that organ by itself, unless you see where the source of the issue is coming from. It doesn't matter what medication, what therapy, what treatment you do, you're not going to fix it. It's not going to be fixed.
100%.
So,
Last one. You want to do the last one?
yep, very
Have
quickly.
we ever gone through 8 articles in one podcast?
I feel like we're on super speed.
It says, does exercise work for weight loss? Exercise
Yes.
alone produces little weight loss because the body compensates by increasing appetite and conserving energy. Well, yeah, if you exercise and eat more, you're not going to lose weight. Like, this is like supposed to be groundbreaking research? We found out that if you exercise, but you eat whatever you want, and exercise increases your appetite because you work now, you got to feed your body, you eat more, you may not lose weight. However, exercise dramatically improves health, metabolism, muscle, and longevity even without weight loss. So, I mean, part of this article is admirable because they're saying it's not about losing weight, it's about being healthy. Right? So I agree with that because, you know, I don't exercise to lose weight or gain muscle. I want that to happen.
You want to get stronger.
But I do it because I want to be able to handle stress.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I can handle the stress of lifting something, then I'll be able to handle the stress of whatever else might happen to me, whether I slip and fall down the stairs or whatever it might be.
Yep.
You know, so they're saying how like the drugs work better for weight loss. They're saying that obesity and being overweight is a medical condition and it's genetic. It has nothing to do with diet and exercise. And the only reason you should be fit and you should exercise is so you can add years to your life. Listen, breathing adds years to your life.
I mean, and you have to know that the information that's coming at you is not, most of what is being promoted online is to get you on more drugs, to make sure that you're gaining weight, to put you into the medical system so that someone can profit. So if you move to stepping outside of all the ultra processed foods, stepping outside of maybe the need to go into more medications, maybe there's something you can do more naturally, or talk to your doctor about beginning to reduce the need, because the number of medications that you're on is one of the number one things that actuaries look at to determine
That's right.
your longevity. And
not whether you can sit down on the floor and get up.
So the more medications you're on, the life expectancy decreases tremendously.
True.
And so if you want longevity, then there are some things you have to do differently. You have to drink the right amount of water. You have to be able to have your body strong enough to handle stress so it doesn't knock you out. You have to feed your body properly with whole food or good supplementations. This high processed food will never give you nutrients. There is no nutritional value in it. Even if it says on the box of cereal that it has B vitamins, there are no B vitamins in it. Just FYI.
Not usable B vitamins.
No.
They won't be absorbed. They're in there,
but
your body will not absorb it.
So you just have to know that what is being marketed doesn't equate to truth.
Yep.
And so if we go back to the way things were done 100 years ago, when we didn't have as much of these disease processes, we would probably see a reduction in those. But that's not the way our culture is headed. And so you have to do something that's different and goes against what the culture is telling us to do. So go eat natural food, go eat whole foods, go get some apples off the tree, go to a farmer's market, get your meat from somewhere where you know it's actual meat and it's not a filler. It's really not hard. Get outside and get sunlight and go walk and use your physical body as God intended and give it the nutrients that was also intended so that it can work the way it needs to work for you.
Yeah. And we learned some good things today. We learned that aging can be modified through your behavior. Drugs can affect your sex life. Weight loss drugs can affect your sex life in a bad way. They say chronic disease is genetic, which gout, which is not true. Lifestyle is still critical for longevity, which is true. We talked about how vaccine skepticism is affecting our economy in a bad way, which is not true. And holistic ideas are slowly entering mainstream medicine, which is true because more and more people are realizing there's tremendous benefit to things like chiropractic.
Yeah, and healthcare decisions should never be made from economic.
That's right.
That's why we're in the situation that we're in,
That's
right?
That's right.
It's because money got put above health.
Exactly.
Which is what a lot of the hospitals and insurance companies and big pharma and the vaccine companies have done.
I tell you, what we're grateful for is that you tune in, you hang in with us, you listen to us rant. And hopefully you put this information to good use. You spread it. You talk about it. We need to change. We need to change health in individuals, but more so in families. I think a nation that has strong family values is a strong nation.
100%.
I am seeing more in that, but that means we have to be healthy in every way. Make healthy choices from activity to relationships to diet to exercise. We're grateful for you, and we hope you tune in again next time.
See you then.
Take care.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.